Shan has become the second largest holder or operator of logging concessions in Guyana, owning 1/5 of all logging concessions, after the 1.6 million hectares of the Malaysian-owned Barama Company Limited. The operations of the company have been subject to criticism, with many labeling it the sellout of Guyana's forests for next to nothing. This is so, given the many promises attached to the agreement made between the company and the previous administration, which included the construction of wood processing plants and other value-added investments. The company has been in operation about a decade and is yet to deliver on its many promissory obligations. At a press conference held at the then Amerindian Affairs Ministry on February 25 last, the company entered a leasing agreement with an Amerindian community. It was at this venture, Nightly News witnessed firsthand the company's persuasive nature in acquiring items necessary for its operations.
They will also sign on to being good corporate citizens who will support Shan at the village level during the course of their association. They will also seek to establish a sports facility for the young people.
That was former Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sukai, detailing projects that would have been undertaken by the company in exchange for the land. This is minor compared to the larger promises the Chinese loggers made to the previous administration in exchange for their many concessions. In 2007, Minister Prasad had banned the company, but with tricky innovation via TSA, Timber Sales Agreement, the company managed to secure rights by establishing a joint venture which was later deemed illegal according to GFC standards. Nonetheless, the operations continue, even though the parliamentary endorsed 1997 and pending 2011 revision of the National Forest Policy signaled the host country value-added processing of forest products. Presidential Advisor on Sustainable Development and Head of the State Assets Recovery Unit, Professor Dr. Clive Thomas, in addressing the issue, noted that those concessions should be revoked.
My contention is simple in that I believe that if a state gives concessions to any company, whether local or foreign, and the company does not fulfill those obligations for getting concessions, then they should be taken away.
That advice, of course, will be relayed to the President and his cabinet. At the post-cabinet media briefing on Wednesday, Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman acknowledged the advice of Dr. Thomas and expressed that this calls for a process and the review is underway.
Look at jobs, we've got to look at taxes paid, we've got to look at concessions for duty-free vehicles and equipment versus what has been given back. We've got to look at value added. So that requires a studied review, but yes, that review is ongoing.
Minister Trotman explained that Shan along with another logging entity, Vitarna, have both been placed on notice and both conveyed that they will honor their obligations time-sensitively. But the question was asked, should they fail to do so, then what? Minister Trotman's response follows.
Well, then their contracts will have to be reviewed for termination.
Efforts to contact the Chinese-owned Shan to add their voice to the issue proved futile. For HGP Nightly News, Kingsley Bryan.